This is part 1 of my series where I go over every character's journey through Soul Mile 3X, Kirby Star Allies' True Arena. I cover the rules of the challenge and the patterns of each boss in the intro video to this series to speed these videos up, so I don't need to explain what Krako's Windy Lightning attack is every time. I would recommend watching that video first to make sure you're up to speed. I'm kicking things off with Chef Kawasaki, for no particular reason of course. Representing the Chef ability, Chef Kawasaki is a large hurtbox and no moves with invincibility, giving him one of the worst defensive games of the whole roster. Will his strengths be enough to outshine his severe defensive weaknesses? Let's find out! Also, Chef Kawasaki says you should like and subscribe. Thank you. In the overview section, I will go over the ability's moveset, attributes, and strengths and weaknesses. Chef's regular attack has you swing your ladle in front of you. It has huge hitboxes, solid damage, and unreasonably great frame data. It is spammable on the ground and in the air. Your upwards attack has you swing the ladle upwards. This move might seem a bit simple and derivative of the first attack, but simply having an attack that goes up massively improves your matchups against all of this game's floating bosses, so the existence of this move is a blessing. Even if something is too high up to hit with this move on the ground, the frame data is so good that you can use it repeatedly while spamming jumps in between to float in place. Aerial dash attack, Chef doesn't have a grounded dash attack unfortunately, has you throw 3 pieces of kitchenware that go at different arcing trajectories. It has great coverage and range, but it's pretty awkward and difficult to spam because of how the inputs work. You have to dash, jump, attack once or twice, then repeat. This is really finicky to do in place and easy to miss input. It's worth the effort though. These things hit like an absolute truck, especially with how safe they are. Hitting with one of the projectiles consistently is good damage. Hitting with all 3 consistently is absolutely illegal damage. These 3 moves make up pretty much all of Chef's kit, but with the holy trinity of damage, frame data, and large hitboxes, Chef has DPS that is not only shockingly incredible, but also remarkably consistent. Other abilities have strong moves but aren't able to safely or easily land them all the time. Chef just pours on the damage non-stop. As the final cherry on top, if you hold down the attack button, you can call in any stars or regular enemies on screen to cook them. You're also invincible until you start cooking. If you hold down the button long enough, you will also shoot out boiling hot broth from your pot, dealing moderate damage to everything on screen. This move has a very lengthy cooldown of a few minutes after being successfully performed. Being able to get a significant heal mid-fight is a fantastic asset that also helps you conserve your rest area healing items, and the invincibility from the startup can be situationally useful to dodge attacks, though the extremely long cooldown leaves this as pretty impractical most of the time. The rest area only gives you 2 small healing items, 2 medium healing items, and 2 full healing items, so being able to heal in battle massively increases the amount of total healing you can get and thus the amount of mistakes you're allowed to make. As mentioned in the intro, Chef is a very poor defensive game. Most other helpers with large hurtboxes, like Bonkers and Vividria, give you the option of playing as Kirby instead, granting you a nice, sleek hurtbox. Chef doesn't get that luxury, leaving him with an unenviable combination of enormous hurtbox size and no reliable invincibility moves. Will he be able to succeed by blitzing bosses down with his incredible offensive prowess, or will his defensive helplessness drag him down? In this section, I will go over the abilities matchup versus each boss and give them a matchup chart. Wispy. Wispy, being a massive, barely moving target, is extremely vulnerable to Chef's blisteringly high DPS. If the fight went on longer, Chef would have trouble avoiding Wispy's hectic attacks, but Wispy just dies so fast it doesn't matter. Mini-boss Gauntlet 1. Mr. Frosty gets completely humiliated by Chef. The Anger Masters are obviously no problem, and Twin Bonkers are too big and slow to avoid getting drowned in cutlery. Additionally, the huge hitbox of your ladle means you can often hit both of them at once, dealing unreasonable amounts of damage per second. Goldon and Silvox. Easy as always, Chef gives Goldon and Silvox a brutal whooping. The large amount of children they spawn can basically give you a free full heal with the cooking move.
I like to eat children!
Parallel Krako. Unlike Artist, your crazy hitboxes and frame data let you go berserk during the rain attack. Floating bosses tend to feel tankier than they are because so many abilities struggle to hit them reliably, so Chef's damage not only being high but also consistent means Parallel Twin Krako goes down in record time.
Look at this dude. Huh?
Parallel Big Krako is a bit more bothersome because you have to dodge the Windy Lightning attack legitimately. This would probably be a good time to use the cooking attack if you still have it, but other than that, he's so predictable and easy to hit that he's not a problem. Mini-boss Gauntlet 2. Chef Kawasaki stands no chance against Chef Kawasaki. The start of the Vividria fight is a bit sketchy, but after the initial pincering, it's smooth sailing. Twin Bugsy is the first notably bad matchup. With their huge bodies and quick movements, and your really bad defensive game, it's pretty much inevitable that you'll get your face kicked in a few times. At least they have pretty low health. Francisca. It's hard to not just keep repeating myself. Consistent damage plus high damage equals nutty damage per second equals bosses dying really fast. I messed up against the icicle attack, but I got a monster heal here. Like, jeez. That looked like enough food for 4 health bars. Flambridge. Other than a mild fat-shaming incident in the corner with her bumping into me, Flambridge is no problem. Zan. The first lightning attack didn't even get to start before she changed phases. Oh my god, Chef just deals so much damage. I really shouldn't have chosen such a strong ability to start, because Chef makes Soul Melter EX look easy. Trust me, most abilities don't kill things nearly this fast. Zan absolutely drowns in a sea of cups and plates. Meta Knight. You can't really get full DPS out of your projectiles because of how small he is, and having 2 independently moving threats gives me twin Bugsy flashbacks. Not too big of a problem overall, though. DDD. He's predictable and big. He's cooked. Hiatus. Chef Kawasaki does not like the first set of attacks Hiatus does after changing phases, but other than that, this matchup is pretty comfortable for Chef due to how easy it is to land your attacks. Savor that while it lasts. Most abilities really struggle with Highness. Maid Sisters. I got really cocky in the video and take loads of unnecessary damage, but the fight goes pretty well for Chef overall. The Ice Floor into Sword Pogo attack is a huge nightmare though. Or at least it would be if it wasn't for the fact that you could hold the cooking attack and thus the invincibility it gives you for an absurdly long time. Turning a losing situation to a free full heal is such a Chef Kawasaki thing to do. That being said, if you didn't happen to have a cooking attack on hand, or didn't think to use it, you'd be very likely to take a huge amount of damage here, so that's a pretty big knock against Chef in this matchup. That first Sword Pogo attack is seriously tricky to dodge. If Chef did even like 20% less damage, it would be substantially worse because of all the extra attacks you would have to dodge, but you just kill things so freaking fast that bosses don't get any time to exploit your defenses. Orpho Knight. This matchup requires you to put in some effort with all the reacting and dodging you have to do. Most other bosses so far haven't really required you to do much of that. Additionally, just like Meta Knight, he's pretty tricky to hit with your all-important projectile. This guy will punish you for your defensive shortcomings if you let him, but you still hit like a truck. A self-healing truck at that, so this feels like a pretty fair fight. Void Termina. I won't be talking about the shit parts of the final boss because they're largely the same between all abilities. I will cover the inside phase though. The onslaught of projectiles he sends your way makes this moderately uncomfortable, but your onslaught of projectiles means this fight lasts about 10 seconds. Void. Downside. Because of Void's stupidly overbearing damage resistance, Chef is not able to kill him quickly and has to actually play the game and dodge attacks for a little while. Upside. Void is super predictable and you probably have a heal ready to go, so it's no biggie. So, overall, wow. Chef did phenomenal. Crazy how good Chef did. The first time I used Chef Kawasaki in Soul Melter EX, I genuinely did think he would do pretty bad. Not having an invincibility move is really, really bad. Spoiler for a future ranking, but Bomb, another ability with no invincibility move, is like a low mid-tier ability. I saw Chef had an even worse defensive game and thought he was going to be one of the hardest abilities to use. Yeah, no. Chef is a delightfully overtuned ability. It seems to be a glass cannon at first, but it's more like a Gorilla Glass rocket launcher, both sturdier and stronger than you expect. It seems like it should be hampered more by its poor defensive profile, but it just ends fights so fast and gets so many heals that it's just not a problem. I think Chef deserves an A+. It's very powerful, but the lack of any invincibility option, or at least any reliable invincibility option, and its massive hurtbox demand that you have a good familiarity with boss attack patterns and ability to dodge. So I think it just misses S tier. S tier abilities should be able to carry you to victory with relative ease, and Chef needs you to put in some work. Without proper dodging and boss attack pattern knowledge, you'll either die before you get to heal or be forced to cower in the corner, unable to deal as much damage as possible. And if you aren't able to fully exploit Chef's blisteringly high DPS, the ability is going to feel a lot worse. What ability should I rank next? Leave a comment, and maybe I'll do it. I mean, I'm gonna do them all eventually, but maybe I'll do one earlier, I don't know. And also, again, please like and subscribe. You don't have to, I feel bad asking, but you know how it is out there. Thanks. Thank you.